Okay, we are here. So I think everything should be going alright, mate.
Yes, yes, yes.
All right. Okay, we're live. Just a few things. I don't know what's really stopping with my system at the moment. Is giving me vibe of hanging a little bit. I have like a lot of Chrome tabs open. I need to start switching them off at this point. So hi guys, hi everybody, hi. If you are here, please do well to welcome your friends to join the space. Do well to invite your family. Do well to invite everybody. We are going to have an amazing time here today. We're going to talking about understanding bull and bear market cycles. We My name is Marvelous, as you all know. And right now today we're going to be having here join us. David, right? So David has been with us for a while, and he has been with us for he has been with us for a very long while. Yes. So David, can you just go ahead and for people that are not familiar with your game yet, can you please go ahead
Oh,
and
okay. Thanks a lot once again, Marvelous. It's a great, moment as always. Every time we get to, discuss and bring insight around the happenings in the markets, even right here on Bitget Africa Live. The honor is mine, and I'm very much excited once again to be here again today. Can you hear me?
yes, I
Okay,
can hear
great.
you.
Yes. So, of course, today we are, breaking down a very important topic. Bull and bear cycles, what they are, how they form, and how to exactly spot them, what to know what cycle of the market we are in, and also to probably in the course of this discussion answer the question of what market cycle are we currently in, and I think it's going to clear a lot of doubts and confusions and questions, and perhaps especially as we wrap in 2025, some forms of clarity will form in some person's mind in the course of this discussion. So yeah, I think it promises to be great, and I can't wait for us to have this showdown.
Oh yeah, so absolutely. So just before we get to start our live session, I think we should. I don't know. It seems like my system is hanging. I'm not exactly sure what's really happening. But then,
Okay.
um, so before we start, let me play a video for us, for a video, one of our videos, and then we are going to begin. So one sec. And then can you like, are you seeing the video on the stuff?
It is
I'm going short.
probably
And
just coming up. Yeah, it's coming on. It is.
So right, just do it this
Yeah, I
way.
can see it.
Okay.
have you ever heard I'm going long or I'm going short and made no sense to you? It's actually very simple. Going long means you think the price is going to go up. Let me give an example here. You buy it for say $4,000 and the price goes up to $5,000, you make a cool profit of $1,000. That means the price went up, so you went long. On the other hand, going short is the opposite. With going short, you think the price will drop. So when it comes to futures and margins, you sell first and hope to buy them back to make a profit. Let me give an example. You sell it at $4,000 and buy it back when the price drops to $3,000. Then you make a profit of $1,000. Let me give you a quick memory trick. So basically, long is bullish. The bull actually uses its horn to raise things up, and short is bearish. Bears normally take things down. So basically, you are choosing a side to go long or to go short. Another fun analogy is guessing whether the market is going to wear red or green tomorrow. Just that in this case, money is involved. So it's kind of simple. Just know your side. Use stop losses and sizes while you learn. And remember, always trade responsibly and only invest what you can afford to lose. And as always, trade smarter with Bitget.
All right, guys, we are very much right in this middle of this discussion, and I think we are, making a great deal of progress in our discussion around what these cycles are about and our understanding of them. Wanting us to be at rest, Marvelous is going to be joining us in very much soon. He's trying to sort out some technical issues just back door. I just want to believe we are much excited about this topic, all right? And the questions you all are having probably get answers in the course of this live stream. Well, let's start by breaking these discussions down. How are the market cycles formed? Let's start from the top. Market don't move randomly. All right, they move in cycles. We have the bull cycles. Some of us are already aware of that, and of course the bear cycles and everything in between. Because beyond the bull and the bear cycle, you can be so sure um, that there is more. Um, yeah, there is more that we are literally going to learn about the market. Because I tell you, our understanding of the market is very much progressive. All right. A minute, please. So, I think it's much more about we knowing, right, that um, for example, this particular cycle we've entered following this just concluded bull cycle is one that is calling for learning. I'm going to be explaining as we continue. Let's start off by saying some things about the normal cycles we are aware of. So the challenge in this our discussion is most traders don't know which cycle they are trading in, and that's why they buy late in a bull run, and of course they also panic sell early in a bear market. um they don't just know what to do. They buy very late, and or they sell early in the bull run, and also they very much sell late in the bear market. And that's why we're here, so we can fix that. So our bull cycles formed. I must say something to us that bull cycles usually start when fear is literally at its optimum. Now, there is a very good indicator on CoinMarketCap called the Fear and Greed Index. And I don't know if you're aware of this indicator. A very important tool that every trader out there is literally aware of when it comes to, oh, great, is back here with us. So this indicator called the Fear and Greed Index lets every trader knows when the market sentiment is hitting the fear level or the, greed level. And for understanding how bull cycles form, this could really give a good signal to anyone wanting to know what cycle we're in, a sign as to what cycle it's forming. So the truth is this: there is a high likelihood for us to resume a bullish cycle when the entire crypto cycle or crypto market is sitting at extreme fear level. Those are the times where a lot of persons are panicking, wanting to throw off every of their coins in their bags, not wanting to HODL. But I tell you, some persons already know that's the best time to enter the market. Now, it depends on what level and time frame they are viewing this from. But I'm saying, bull cycles usually start when people are, of course, I'd say this bull cycle mostly start when people are the most afraid, and some few persons begin to gain confidence in the market, and they begin to return, and price begin to break above resistance levels, and volumes begin to peak in, and higher highs and higher lows begin to form. So I think that is a start off point for me to give for all of us to know how the bull cycles start. Of course, there are so many, you know, factors, but I don't know if Marvelous also want to share some one or two things before we continue now. That is right here with us.
So
Yeah.
yeah,
Or
so absolutely. I actually so sorry guys. I had some technical issues, so I had to leave the space and come back. So aside that, so I wanted to start with even asking like a question, some sort of like, oh, what do we think currently, whether we are in the bull cycle or in the bear cycle, right? and you say what you think, and I say what I think, and then we just come to a conclusion later on to say, okay, based on like some of this analysis, what do we think we are currently in? What particular cycle do we think we are currently in? And a couple of other things surrounding that. So first of all, right, what cycle do you think we are in? Do you think we are in the bull cycle or the bear cycle?
Even currently, I
Yeah.
think we're in a cycle I wrote about in 2020, 3Q1. I wrote an article on Medium. I call it the bull bear cycle, where as we were beginning the new year, I'm like, there's going to be a lot of bullish momentum. There will be some slightly bearish input, but at the point, people would never know when to press the pause button in believing that we are no longer bullish. So in the current cycle we are in, I think we are in such a cycle that is calling for us to learn about, because there are many reasons. We historically are aware that after the Bitcoin halving, we just have the bull run for a year and a few months, and then we have about 18 months bearish cycle, bearish duration. But after the Bitcoin halving in 2024, right? I think it was 2024 we had the Bitcoin halving. Last, it's been more than a year of a bull run, and a lot of months after following that, right? I think it was April 2024, and this is about 1 year and almost I think, is it 7 months, right, since that time. So a lot of data are not correlating, all right, in accordance to the previous historical fact we have about the bull cycle indicating the bear cycle. Because after the bull cycle, about a year after the halving, we should have the bear cycle for about 18 months. So without the bull run right now, literally, starting way earlier. It started in 2022 December. By my own opinion, it was not when Bitcoin got to like 70K. The bull run started. It started when Bitcoin was around $17,000 in December 2022, and we've had the bull run literally by my calculation for almost 3 years. So because this is December 2025, very crazy. Institutions have entered the market, so much of optimism in the market, and I think this is a call point for us to be very much careful. We might not have the bear cycle as we all used to know, but then there'll be some downsides. So what cycle are we in? I would say we are in a cycle we're learning about, learning off. We're in a so I'll call it a bearish bullish cycle. So sometimes we can call it a bullish bearish cycle, but I think we're in a bearish bullish cycle. I think that's better, better way to call the cycle we're in by my own, feeble lingua. We're in a bearish bullish cycle. Yeah, it's not bearish, it's not bullish, but there is the prevalence of the likelihood of the bear to lead the market. But then there's still going to be like a bullish intake there because of a lot of institutions coming into the market at this time. So that's just the kind of way I can call this very funny cycle we've got to learn so much about of, because of the unusualities. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a
Yeah.
pretty very funny cycle, right? And to think that people were pretty bullish at some point, as regards like the current market condition. Like people were like,
Mm-hmm.
that kind of thing. Bitcoin is going to go to 150K. The next cycle, sorry,
Mm,
the next cycle is 50K,
yeah,
and people
yeah.
were just all hyped up around all those things, and it ended up being what we are seeing now, right? Honestly,
Yeah.
right? The thing is that I honestly can't even tell what particular cycle we're in now, right? But I think but according to myself, I think I might let alone, I might just conclude that we are just in the bear cycle, and I will say that because
Yeah.
it has not been easy. So most people think that, or I used to think that when it comes to like the bear cycle, like it just means that everything is just going down and stuff like that, and everything is just going down. So before I started even doing trading, I think that, oh, since what is the bearish
Mm-hmm.
cycle? That means once the bear market, that means things are going down. What that ultimately means is that you can just short a token, and then to just short
At
and continue
anywhere.
going down there without any analysis or what. Until I
Mm.
realized that there's a thing called
Yeah.
liquidation, and basically
Yeah.
liquidation. So like I will put this thing and put like this 100x, 200x on Bitcoin trade, and then I'm seeing that My stop loss is
Bro.
somewhere, my liquidation is somewhere somehow close to my entry, and the token will like to 96K. Like it will go up to this thing, come down, like it will be doing like this movement, and it's just very crazy. Like you don't even know whether you're buying high or buying low. I don't know that it's good. So it has hit 5K, I think twice or so, the past 1 or 2 weeks. So it's just crazy, and then it goes back to
Yeah.
96K. And when it's getting back 96, if we're shouting, "Oh, we are so back, we are so back, we are so
Mm,
back,"
mm,
and then next
mm.
thing it goes back itself, you know. So I think I'll go just going to say like we are in a bearish, we're in a pretty bearish market condition like this right at this point. Yeah.
Yeah, so I think we're in actually, typically speaking, everyone should actually be able to logically conclude that, and that we're in a bearish market. I'm just wanting to put in those little bit of alarm with a lot of institutions in it, right? The truth remains that we just can open the market short at the end of point. In fact, I've been on trading break for days now. I'm not joking, like weeks literally, and it's
Me
very
too.
much
Honestly,
understandable.
me too.
Yeah, and this is very typical of the bearish market. Everything will be very dull, sometimes boring, because you just don't want to make very stupid decisions. And it's very much the bearish market cold, like the bearish market flu is already coming up, but some people will not get it. When the market retraces a little bit and it goes up, so the excitement level is still there. I'm trying to pull up a picture. Once I get it, I'll probably share, because
Okay.
there's this picture of people living in the denial phase, and there are different phases in the market, where we have the denial phase, where we have this. It's a very funny and important chart that mirrors the psychology of a lot of persons, especially when the market gets to its peak. They don't want to believe the market is going to be coming down. They are still very much optimistic of, it's the Wall Street cheat chart. I'm going to open that. I already found it, but I think we can just continue. I mean, it will give a vivid picture of what we're saying, so people can understand that, hey, when the market gets to its peak, it definitely will have to find some, reclining. It will come down at some point, and we just have to face the reality. It is what
Yeah.
it is. So I think that's
Okay.
just pretty much it. So people should have a more bearish expectation of this market.
Okay.
That's just the
Absolutely.
truth, than being yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. So, let's go over to, talking about what exactly we think, or what or how, is like how what we basically mean when we are talking about market cycles. So let's assume that we have a newbie here that is quite confused about what exactly the market cycle, and stuff like that, right? Let's try to see how we
Hmm.
can, um, explain that thing, to you know
A total
a
newbie.
beginner, right? Or a total newbie, that kind of thing, right? So I'm just going to, so yeah, so according to, in your own terms, how would you describe what a market cycle, quote unquote, a market cycle is?
Okay, so let me just a moment. Let me share this charts and use it to probably, buttress my point. I don't know if you can see this. Yeah, this picture very funny. Kind of. Yeah. So this is just the psychology of a market cycle, right? In a very simplified manner. You can see this picture here. Let me see if, all right, I can't zoom more than that. Anyways, so what we literally see is that price and time are on a very interesting graph, with price on the y-axis, and then time on the x-axis, telling you that price increases as time increases, and of course at some particular point in time, after we've had the expansion of price, there will be a contraction. So irrespective, there will always be contraction and expansion. So an expansion, a contraction, another expansion. We always have a contraction after an expansion. And so expansion is just like that, way of we saying a bullish cycle, where with respect to time, right, the price of all these cryptocurrencies begin to rise after they've survived a very angry and depressive market state. Now look at this: you are having this anger phase and this depressive state. This is the phase where people never expect that the market will rise again, but that's where the market will begin to rise. It will really push up, shortly. A lot of persons will not believe it, but that's the beginning point of the move. So in simple terms, right, a market cycle is just the way we have categorizing people's psychology as expectant and depressive. So expectant in the sense of optimism, hope, belief, the thrill, the euphoria that is very much likely of the bullish market. So we're having bullish market where market appreciates and it goes up and up and up and up and up, and we keep expecting it keeps going up and never thinking it's going to come down. And then the bearish cycle where everyone is just you know like we are bored, tired, exhausted, fatigued, anxious, and living in denial. That's one of the important emotions that you see around the bearish cycle. So it's the cycle where the inevitable happens, right? The market begins to collapse and we just can't deal with it because probably we bought into the market late. And so this is just what it is for a newbie to understand the market cycles from an emotional perspective. So just a bearish cycle, bullish up, bearish down, and bearish comes after bullish, bullish comes after after bearish, and vice versa. So this is just my bit of explanation, right, on a very foundational level for anyone wanting to know all there is about this subject of discussion. And I
Yeah,
hope
so
this
I
really
think
helps. Yeah.
yes. So absolutely, that really helps. So I also found this thing on I found this on Investopedia, right? And they're basically talking about market cycles, and
Mm,
they
mm.
explain market cycles as market cycle or stock market cycles. So you can either say stocks or crypto because basically you can do all those things on Bitget, right? Refer to trend or pattern that arises in various
Mm.
markets or business setting in a cycle. Certain securities or asset classes outperform others due to their growth aligned business
Orders,
models, stuff like that, right? You can also say that,
business models. Hmm.
markets, one thing about the market is that they don't just move randomly, right? So everybody, every time, everything has its time, everything has its, period, right? And at some point, you experience some sort of like a surge in the prices of, let's say, token, altcoin, Bitcoin, and stuff like that, right? And
Yeah,
another time, right, so we're going to experience some
yeah.
decline. There was a time Bitcoin was pumping and
Mm.
pumping and pumping and got to 120K. So it was okay to say in that period that Bitcoin was experiencing a bull market cycle, right? And then right now we are
Yes.
because and just like this image at the side of this thing shows, right? A beer, okay, the image doesn't do justice like that, sha, but if you want to describe bull and
Yeah, yeah,
why
of
we
course.
beer, it's because a beer always charges down. Like so the beer always goes down. Like
Downward,
if
right? Yeah.
he wants to attack you, he charges down on you. Like he wants to crush you
Hmm.
down. Like he wants to, but then a bull wants to use his horn to like lift you up, to like charge at you
Onto you
like that,
upward.
right?
Yeah.
Right. So basically, that is why they have the term for bear and bull, because a bear goes up and a bear goes down, and a bull,
Goes down,
goes goes up.
charges up.
And that's basically how we basically why the term exists when we talk about
Bulls
bearish
and
and
bears. Yeah.
market cycles, right? I think in like simple terms we have like to an extent done justice a little bit to to a little bit on like what we refer to as like a market cycle. Or do you have any other thing to add to that?
Yeah.
Do you have anything to add to
Okay.
that?
You. Oh yeah. I think we've done justice to that. Understanding how what market cycles are. Right. It's already explained, and I think we just have to move to the next segment so we
Right.
can
So we can
quickly
talk about
tidy up all we've
how
got.
yeah, so we are basically going to talking about basically how these cycles are formed, right? And I think that's a pretty interesting topic, because
Hmm.
I mean, since we have understand what a bull and bear market cycle is, it's just um, it's just I mean, expected that we kind of like just cover a little bit of like how these cycles form. First of all, I mean, how will I even describe this now? So, how will I describe this? So, we're going to talking about how these market cycles form. We have to we'll talk about the bull and bear market. So, I mean, I guess I'm going to come up with first of all saying stuff like I don't know, in your own terms, David, right? How would
Yeah,
you,
yeah.
um, um, see that a market cycle is, formed, right? 'Cause I can say that, from what I know, right? They start with, when price begin to break like, key resistance, when volume picks up, higher lows, higher highs, that kind of thing, right? And these things, can help you know how or what particular cycle are expected or are, from at a particular time. So yeah, so what would you say? How would you describe to like a newbie how market cycles are formed?
All right. So, thank you for that beautiful segment you brought us into. It's important to know that a typical African man knows that for for pap to a piece of corn flour, and once we have those conjoined together, you can always explain that this is how this pap comes together. So there are about one or two things on the fire that makes this pap form together. And I'm saying this to just say that there are important things we've got to look at when it comes to reason, the rationale behind the forming of the market. So if you're ever wondering, does the market have cycles like menstrual cycle, and do they form? Yes, the market form and it has cycles, just that it could be irregular sometimes, like the example we give of this particular bullish cycle, but then it's okay, so we can learn about it. Now the things we've got to look out for whatever cycle we're going to form. Take for instance a bullish cycle. One of the things most people look up for is, like Marvelous rightly mentioned, volume picking up, breaking of resistance. Now resistance is the supply zone, right, where you don't expect market to break above, and market keeps breaking above those zones, right, from the chart perspective. But beyond the chart, what else do we also look into that gives us an indication that, all right, yes, the bullish cycle is forming? All right, one thing is important. We would have a bull cycle initiating when the market is at a very depressive state. Like everyone's sentiment is down, fear is crippling everyone, a lot of losses have happened into the market. So go check the charts of 2010, I think 2013 to 14, and then 20 is it 17, and yeah, and then 2020 to 2021. You'd see those charts pointing. I'm giving those references in the charts to show to you how that when the market began to peak from those critical lows it got to, it was because the market had got into critical lows. You must understand that. So there was a very convincing fear in the entire market. People were like, no, it's dead, Bitcoin is not rising again. That is the point. The bull market is picking up. So that's from the sentiment perspective, when fear has crippled everyone's expectation and hope in the market. And of course, one of the important thing that also gives an indication of the bullish market is when we have the Bitcoin halving. So the Bitcoin halving is a very important part of the whole Bitcoin scenario, where miners get to be rewarded half what they used to be rewarded the previous halving cycle. So that slashing in their rewards, also as a way economically and into the dynamic of these coins, it has a way of causing a sense of scarcity and driving demand. So you can understand that those also contribute to how the bullish cycle also get formed. And it's important to know that, see, the bullish cycle also get to form the more when you begin to see that time where a lot of news outlets begin to push it. At that time, you already know that the cycle is already picking out. A lot of news outlets are talking about getting into the market, as in this particular cycle, we have so much of institutions from 2023, entering the market and saying, "Hey, we are getting to the market." And of course, those are just important things. They are very much obvious, but then we have not paid attention to them. Those are the things that are responsible for the formation of the bullish cycle. The same thing goes for the bearish cycle. You would definitely be seeing reduction in volume. Lower lows are quietly formed. Everything is just blur. It's as if everyone is not seeing clearly, as we are literally talking about recently. People are not just enthusiastic. The enthusiasm is dropping. The excitement is really going out of the window. People somehow are trying to force their joy. You can literally read it. Only if you don't want to read the room. I'm being very much. I'm trying to not sound too technical, so you can actually relate to what we're talking about. And so you are literally saying that the signal room that you are part of is no longer bubbling as it used to be. They're no longer dropping trades. It's because
Very, very.
they're already seeing their hands are touching them. And so yeah, so making it very relatable, you would understand that the momentum is actually dropping down and the weaknesses are actually brewing. You just might not notice, but it's building up slowly, and those are very important indications. Yeah, of course, you would not be seeing so much news from big platforms saying, "I bought this amount of coin and that," and you just be seeing stuff around. Whales move this amount of Bitcoin to this particular platform, that and that. You might be seeing that also pushing left and right. And there's a particular guy that some persons have used as an indicator of the bear market. I don't know what his name is right now, but they say whenever he tweets, just take it to know that the market is about to start dipping. So
I know
because
the guy. I don't want to
he's like
mention
an
his
inverse of the market. So when he says the market is bullish, the market is bearish. When he says the market is bearish, actually the market is bullish. I'm not joking. This guy
So
has a lot of followers, and he is a
I know
very
his name.
very interesting
I know his
sentiment on
name.
X. Yeah,
I know his name, but I don't want to mention it, right?
really.
Just so I know exactly what his name is. So
I get it.
the thing is that I've never taken his shit before. I've never taken
Oh,
his,
exactly
but
what
like
his name
I
is.
saw somebody posted it, and when the person
Oh,
posted it, like the thing got quite a lot of reaction. So that those people were like agreeing to that, and apparently, he had lost a couple of trades before, and then at that particular time,
yeah.
he was, yeah, that kind of thing. I know what that is. I know who he is, but I'm not
Mm,
going to mention
mm.
it, right? So let's just continue now. No. So, no, I've not
Yeah,
checked this, so I
get
can't
get.
verify if that's a very that if that's a true if
I
that
mean, it's
this thing
not.
was true.
It's just a way of wrapping off that session on a lighter note. It's not
Oh
something to
well,
take technically. I mean,
actually, that's true. Also, we have here on our slide that says bull and bear
yeah,
market cycles are driven by um cycles of investor sentiments and economic activity, right? For example, now we talked about NFP that time, rate cuts and a couple of all those things. We also talked about
hmm,
a couple of things on our live session, right? Which also still boils back or relates to the fact that people that market cycles are driven by investor sentiment. So let's say sentiment begin to change, right? People begin to see that,
mm,
this market,
yeah,
as you said, trading groups begin to, that kind of thing. Then you see that, okay, we are in this particular kind of
yeah,
sentiment, right? So before ISBD trading group, this will really dish out trade. Like, you can wake up in the morning by 5 and they have dished out like two trades, one already enter. And like, but right now, nothing's happening there like that again. And things
yeah,
are
yeah,
just
yeah, yeah.
changed drastically at that particular point. Then that just gives you an opinion. So it says here that where a bull market is characterized by rising prices and optimism, a bear market is marked by falling prices and pessimism, right? So
And pessimism, yeah, yeah,
yeah,
yeah,
exactly. So I believe that we've been able to, cover how these cycles form, like in a
yeah.
quite should I say beginner or layman
Friendly,
term.
yeah.
Yes. So now I want us to
Hmm.
go over to talk about, stuff like how to know, like, so we need to answer the question, right? How to know, since we are at the beginning of this space. I mean, I asked the question that, okay, what particular cycle are we in right now? Yeah. So we give our speculation as regards our what we thought,
Yeah.
rather, about what particular cycle we are in right now. I mean, I said I think we're in the bear. You are like, I think we're in the bear bull, right? So now we need to go over to talk about, how to
Yeah.
know particular cycle that we are in currently, right? How do we use, real life stuff? How do we use, that kind of stuff, right, to know, okay, what particular kind of like market cycle are we in currently, right? Um, so how would you describe that for yourself, right? So how would you answer the question, right? Not just from like your own personal like speculation, right? But then not just from your not just from what you feel like, but from what's currently happening like in the market, right? How would you say, or what how would you put it, that how do you know what particular cycle that we are currently in?
I think which is the crux of our discussion in this live stream, understanding the bear and the bull cycles, because the goal is so everybody can also understand where we are standing. Because I mean, I always say something about understanding, that understanding is an under upon which we stand, and if we don't get it right, people can actually trip off and fall. It's more like people sometimes, if they don't have understanding of something, they literally will feel rug pulled, like they pull the rug on that day. So
Exactly.
I think, yeah. So I think for me, when it comes to we answering the question, what cycle are we in, and how would I really approach that practically? Um, I showed us a picture the other time, right, which was of the market cycle and its psychology from Wall Street, right? We literally saw how that we have the face of hope and optimism and belief and thrill, euphoria, excitement, which categorizes the bullish cycle. And whenever you look at the charts, you can always look up for these charts, and of course compare it with a monthly chart of Bitcoin. I don't know if that's something we could do, but time is on our hand right now, where I would have wanted you to look at the charts of the market, right, comparing chart with chart and seeing this for yourself. You'd see something that the peak of this other chart I showed you that time is literally the peak of what Bitcoin is right now at the moment, number one. And number two, the BTC dominance, the Bitcoin dominance, also is an indication.
Oh
It's
yeah.
an indication of what particular market chart we are in. I'm sorry.
Okay.
I'm trying to see if we can go on, because I have a kind of light out. So probably I'll just do like this. Yeah.
Okay.
So the Bitcoin charts, if we compare that on a weekly chart time frame to a chart on a monthly time frame, to the chart of the monthly time frame charts with the chart that I showed you the other time, we would see that the market has actually picked up, and the Bitcoin dominance is an indication of what is that again, of the cycle we are in right now. I want to
Cycle,
check the
yeah.
Bitcoin dominance chart right as we're talking.
Okay.
Yes. Or yes. So because I think that would also help,
Okay. That's true,
because
sir.
whenever Bitcoin
That's
dominance
something definitely
begins
I
to
love it.
rise beyond, whenever whenever the whenever the Bitcoin dominance chart begins to rise, right, um, beyond how do I say this? When it begins to rise beyond, I think 50 or so. Let me check the chart. BTCD. When it begins to rise beyond 50, and it begins with more strength, it's very much clear that people are really selling off their altcoins and wanting to convert them into Bitcoin, and Bitcoin will be you know bumped into as the safe haven. So I mean, the Bitcoin dominance chart is one, of course, an important indicator. They look at this market structure, which I say we can check on a weekly time frame, it's also another important indicator. Another important indicator is we can look at the macro sentiment. What are we getting from the US economy? What are we getting from that, and how is that also how is that also how is that also helping the situation of yeah of the market? So you literally are going to be saying that yes, there is the low volume there is the structure that showed that the market has gotten to its peak for a bullish market, and there is very negative macro sentiment that are in the market, and the prices are also reacting to these key levels, indicating that the market is actually shifting from the bullish side to the bearish side. And that thing also, I think I must add, is that a lot of violations begin to take place. Now, by violations, I mean sometimes what the market, whatever is about preparing to enter the bear market, or maybe it's preparing to enter the bull market, where you naturally have studied the market as to respecting to be a potential stop loss point, the market will violate that point. So I would explain, if the market is about coming downwards for a bullish market, it violates stop losses anyhow, and that is the market reacting and responding to a likely switch of cycle. The same thing that happens at the peak of the market happens at the very low of the market. So you begin to see it acting up, and I'm using the word acting up like someone that is having mood swing. And yeah, it's just more like the market saying, hey, we're about to shift cycles, and it happens at those peak. And so I think it's reconcilable if the market has had its bullish cycle for over 2 years, for us to expect some likely corrections, at least to some large extent, probably 80% of the whole market move. We should have a correction of those, right? So I think those are my contributions to this discussion of how to know what cycle we are in right now.
Yeah,
The answer is very clear. We are literally in the
yeah.
bearish cycle. Either we call it bearish bullish, we're just in the bearish cycle, literally, because it's already flipping clearly, and we're seeing it already. So yeah, that's my
Yeah, yeah, interesting. So, I think that's a pretty good thing. Like, if you can see, I added the Bitcoin dominance
God.
percentage chart on the screen as well. And then right now, I want us to move
Yeah,
over
thank you.
to talk about
Oh, it's literally 60. Mm-hmm.
oh yeah, okay, it's almost 60, yeah. So I want to talk about, so people still want to so let's say people still want to profit in such condition, like whatever the condition is, people still want profit in such condition, right? The market cycle is bullish. Okay, people still wants to profit from a bullish cycle. Market cycle is bearish. People still want to profit from there, right? Because some people now are taking, as to them, trading is like their full-time job, not just like a passive income stream for them, right? So they're like really trying to say, okay, how can they profit from like what market condition is there at that particular point, right? Um, so we want to talk about basically, yeah. So lastly, so I just want to say, okay, let us use about 2 minutes to talk about this last point, right? And this last point is um on the trading strategies for like the market condition at this particular point, right? So I think we can just use about 2 minutes to do this so that we can just round off from this place, right? So, how would you say, or what would you suggest, like, are like the trading strategies that one could employ in a certain market condition as this currently?
I'm sorry, I didn't get that. I had a bit of network lag. What do I
Oh yeah.
suggest
So
in a market condition as this, right?
yes,
Is that
so
the
trading
question?
strategies, yes,
Oh, the
yes,
trading strategy to the trading strategy we really have to get into is preserve one capital. That's it. I don't know how best we can actually narrow this down, but it's more like you are trading defensively, like yeah,
yes,
as much as possible. Even if you've got to trade, let it be that you're on an extremely low leverage, right? As much as you want to short,
yes.
and as much as possible, yeah, yeah, focus on more short-term plays. Like if you get a bit of 15, I mean 30% on your $100, just take that one. Just take it, because
Mhm.
what you want to
You don't
do
know
is
what
to
happened.
preserve capital that
Yeah, absolutely.
you have preserved, to make the most of the low the market gets to. So the bearish cycle should not be the one we should be thinking of as one of making so much profit. We have to make profit, but not so much profit. We should not be greedy, because it's a very easy to carry the greed from the bullish cycle to the bearish cycle, and that will make one want to return all the profits they've gained in the old bullish cycle. What matters in the bearish cycle is preserving one's capital as much as possible, trade defensively, managing risk very you know
Yeah. Absolutely.
smartly, and yeah, conserving the capitals so that you can make the most of the market lows when the market present them up the opportunities. So I think
Yeah,
it's about
absolutely.
trading, defensively, and at every instance when the market move above your point of entry, if you're a leverage trader, you want to ensure you're setting in a break even stop loss, right? So so just be keep your money if if you still need them. I'm available to help you take care of them. But then
So yeah, so yeah, absolutely,
honestly,
absolutely. Thank you
yeah,
so much, David. So I think we've been able to do a whole
thanks
lot
boss.
in this space. So it was not supposed to take so much time. I think we also talked about a couple of things. So mostly our live session are basically just discussions
Yeah,
around certain topics, what's happening in the markets. How people can leverage the condition to do their stuff. So once again, thank you for everyone for joining us here. Do well to follow us on our social
yeah,
profiles and also David as well. I think it's tagged on X. So yeah, so I guess that's pretty much it for today. We are going to be coming on our and drum rolls next week. We're going to be having our last live session for the year. The year is coming to an end. And we're going to have our
yay.
last live session, and
Okay,
to make it
yeah,
interesting, and also sneak peek. We're going to be having our end of the year
cannot
party
wait
and stuff
for us to go on the holidays.
and as well. So
Yeah,
we can't wait to see you all. When we have our rotation up, and also every other thing. So have a good day, guys, and do have a
yeah,
good rest of the day. Well, I know we started it today, so yeah.
yeah.
All right.